Coming to paperback and e-readers, John Haynes, Illuminati. The man who rules the world takes on the head of the global elite in this action-packed, all-new John Haynes series adventure. Pre-order your copy of John Haynes Illuminati on Amazon.com and online booksellers everywhere. A Queens man is in custody after allegedly participating in a stabbing spree throughout the city.
Attempted murder charges tonight for the man who went on a bloody stabbing spree in Queens and Brooklyn. 6 people attacked with a hunting knife over a 9-day period. Jerome Rigor now waiting to face a judge, and we're waiting to learn a motive for all this terror. A man who worked as a general greeter, a hospital greeter at a hospital with no prior criminal record. Here's Eyewitness News reporter Jim Dolan.
27-year-old Jermaine Rigor was walked from the 113th precinct in Jamaica today, charged now in a 9-day reign of terror that police say left 6 people who never met him stabbed with a hunting knife.
We are pleased to say that particular threat is ended.
Rigor has no criminal history, but police believe that starting on January 9th, he began attacking strangers on or near trains and buses in Queens and Brooklyn, most of them near his home in Springfield Gardens.
I know that area in Rochdale very well. I grew up in that community. And so I was alarmed and I communicated with the speaker.
Massive police presence came together and fanned out. Detectives found this video that matched descriptions provided by victims and this haunting still picture.
Surveillance was immediately set up at this location, and detectives were able to locate a subject when he returned home. The male was wearing the same clothing and sneakers from the stabbing incidents. He was also carrying the same backpack.
The attacks were both random and chilling. In one incident on a train,
he stood over the victim, and as the train doors opened up on Flushing Avenue, he plunged a knife into his victim's chest and simply just walked off the train.
Police are waiting for a search warrant to look through that backpack. They are not sure if the butcher knife is inside. So far, at least, Mr. Rigor has given no explanation, no motive for the attacks on people he had never met.
Now, police have taken 27-year-old Jermaine Rigor into custody for this series of alleged stabbings and charged him with 3 counts of attempted murder, 4 counts of assault, 1 count of attempted assault, 4 counts of criminal possession of a weapon, and they are still looking to investigate this whole series of crimes and still trying to find out what would motivate Jermaine Rigor to participate in this stabbing spree that started on January 8th with a 61-year-old man being stabbed in his lower back and continued on over the course of these 9 days in 2 weeks, where a 34-year-old woman was approached and stabbed in her side by a man who was speaking gibberish, and then 2 more victims were attacked. A 74-year-old man who was escorting his wife was stabbed in the back, and a 41-year-old woman was stabbed in the stomach, and then a 36-year-old man was stabbed on his way to work because he altercation for over a seat on the bus, and a 28-year-old man was the final victim who was stabbed on a J train in Williamsburg, Brooklyn. And after this stabbing of the 28-year-old young man, this is where the police wound up flooding the area with officers, and as a result of them flooding the area with officers and Jermaine Rigor basically wearing the same outfit for all of the stabbings, he was quickly identified and arrested and charged with a series of charges that were presented previously. Now, the NYPD is still trying to figure out what the motive for this series of stabbings are, but when I take a critical examination of Jermaine Rigor's alleged actions, they definitely fit the pattern and profile for beta males, that I talk about in my book, The Man Crisis. Now, Jermaine Rigor allegedly was a young man who had a job as a hospital greeter and had no criminal record, and many would wonder why this young man would want to participate in a series of stabbings when he had everything going for him. However, when it comes to beta males, oftentimes these men, even though they have things going for them, don't really have a good sense of self-worth. And because they don't have a good sense of self-worth or security in their manhood and masculinity, what they do to express what their natural masculinity is enter a dark place that I call in The Man Crisis the secret world. And it looks like to me Jermaine Rigor was entering into the secret world because he was possibly frustrated about the state of his life working in a service job as a hospital greeter, where as a hospital greeter you have to be very cheery and cordial to all of the patients to make them feel comfortable. Unfortunately, Jermaine Rigor possibly was feeling a lot of discomfort, and this discomfort was possibly making him feel a lot of frustration and anger, and that frustration and anger was something he felt like he could not express outside as related to his job, where he had to go out here and give comfort for the patients. And because he now felt like he could not give comfort to himself, he felt the only place he could feel comfortable about being the man he wanted to be was the secret world. Now, usually when beta males enter the secret world, this is where they wind up participating in a lot of deviant and antisocial behaviors, and I possibly believe that Jermaine Rigor, and this is me speculating, possibly was in the secret world participating in drug use like smoking marijuana, and possibly as he was participating in this drug use, this is me speculating again, this is where he felt safe about expressing his natural masculinity and felt like expressing it in a way to express his contempt about having to serve people by looking to hurt all of those people who he had to serve in the hospital. And what I believe he wanted to do as he was in the secret world was look for a way to express his anger and frustration about being in this job that he did not like. And the way he wanted to do this, I believe, was looking to hurt individuals and looking to hurt individuals in the way he felt hurt about having to work in this service job that he felt like it wasn't making him happy. Because as he was possibly on this job, he possibly was trying to hold all of his emotions in, and what he was doing was, again, simmering and boiling in anger. And the way he felt like expressing his rage was to go out at night dressed up in his green outfit with his green sneakers and his black pants and his green mask and stuff, and with a hunting knife, and looking to hunt all of these people who he felt contempt for. And this is possibly the main motive for him participating in this stabbing spree. And the victim's ages, I believe, is a major part of him looking to hurt people, because what he was looking to do was target people who, in most cases, could not fight him back. This is why he chose a lot of elderly people to go out here and target. One of the reasons I believe he went after the grandfather was because he felt like that man couldn't fight him back. And then as he felt more confident, he began to look to prey on other people. And this is where he attacked the 34-year-old woman. And I believe that in most of these cases, he possibly was high on some marijuana or some synthetic marijuana as he participated in these stabbings. And then as he participated in these stabbings, he then went and to the next individual, hunting these individuals in a way to feel like he could be the man he wanted, because he felt emasculated by his job. And because he felt emasculated by his job, he felt like the only way for him to be the man he wanted to be was to go out on the streets of New York in the urban jungle and begin hunting down innocent people in these series of alleged unprovoked attacks. Because the pattern of behavior that Jermaine Rigor was participating in really also fits the pattern and profile of other beta males I have talked about in this series of Man Crisis videos regarding serial killers and mass shooters. I mean, when I look at Jermaine Rigor's alleged behavior, it definitely is just like that behavior, and just like that behavior of serial killers who want to live a double life where on the outside they look like a working class individual who has it all together in their smooth world where they have no conflicts, problems, or obstacles, but in the secret world they make problems for other people because these men, this is the way they vent their frustration, mainly because of the dysfunctional way they have been raised, and because these men do not have an ability to navigate through their emotions as related to situations on the job, such as the everyday conflicts on the job, and especially in high-stress positions like service jobs. These men, what happens is the pressure gets to them, and because they do not have the proper coping skills as related to their male life skills and male survival skills, what happens is these men become time bombs that explode in rage, and as they're exploding in rage, they go out and look to participate in these acts of violence, looking to hurt people to get pleasure out of their pain. And that's basically what happened here, I believe, with Jermaine Rigor, a 27-year-old man who is in a place where he had everything going for him, but because of his whole series of issues as related to his manhood and masculinity, and I would even say his own feelings of not even deserving success, he decided to sabotage everything by participating in this entire stabbing spree. Because any 27-year-old man who has a job in a hospital, which usually in a lot of cases is a union job, pays very well, and is going to be starting to think about building on his life. Because I remember when I was 27 years old and I was working at AmeriCorps Vista at the Strive program, I was thinking more about looking to focus on my future, focus on looking to try to get my money up to buy my first laptop, looking to go out here and looking to start working on other business ventures, thinking about moving forward. And that's usually what a 27-year-old man would be thinking about. Unfortunately, when a beta male gets in that position, instead of thinking about building up their own life, they get frustrated because they feel like they don't have the power to do the things that they want in the real world, and they look to take power in the secret world. And as they look to take power in the secret world, what that leads to happening is their worlds colliding, and as their worlds wind up colliding, people find out about their secret life and the just disturbing behavior they participate in, and what happens is their entire life falls completely apart, like in the case possibly of Jermaine Rigor, who, if these charges are proven in court, he's going to go from a man who was in a good job, working and making money, and having one of the most important intangibles of his life, his freedom, to do whatever he pleases, to winding up becoming an inmate inside of the New York State penal system. And as he's a part of the New York State penal system, he is going to be dealing with the authority of the COs, and he's also going to be dealing with the social hierarchy of Bubba, Tiny, Roscoe, Big Dave, Melvin, and Mr. Sprinkles. And as he's in that penitentiary, he's gonna go from being a guy in green to a guy dressed in orange, traded for Little Debbie snack cakes, ramen noodles, packets of Crystal Light lemonade, packets of Crystal Light tea, off-brand Oreo cookies, off-brand lemon cookies, off-brand chocolate chip cookies, off-brand duplex cookies, off-brand vanilla cookies, off-brand ginger snaps, snack pack puddings, Kit Kat candy bars, ice cream sandwiches, peppermint balls, Nestle Crunch. I mean, they are going to be turning him out and spit roasting him, and Mr. Sprinkles is going to step in once they've finished doing the Eiffel Tower and spray special sauce all over his front side and backside, and this young man who had everything going for him will be going from having a road to an abundant life to having a life in prison where he will be miserable for a good long time, because with 3 counts of attempted murder, 4 counts of assault, and 4 counts of criminal possession of a weapon, these are felonies. And this young man who had no criminal record and basically had everything going for him is going to go from being a man who had all of his intangibles of manhood, like his dignity, self-respect, and his freedom, to becoming a man in crisis who is going to have to worry about whether he has enough, whether he's going to be able to take care of things, because he's gone from a man working a good job, making good money, to working in a penitentiary for 10 cents an hour, and going from being a man making good money to working 10 cents an hour. That's a really bad thing to happen to a guy, but it happens to a lot of beta males because they live in the secret world and get caught up in the fantasies that they have as they're smoking weed. They get caught up in the ideas that they have that they act on impulse on. They get caught up in the fantasies that they have about participating in this kind of behavior, not understanding that there are consequences for your actions, and those consequences can lead to you going from being on the road to a middle class life where you could be living well to living inside of a cell that's the size of your bathroom and looking to go out here and beg Mr. Sprinkles for a Little Debbie snack cake and trading your dignity for that Little Debbie snack cake that you could have originally bought from an Arab store for 60 cents or $1. I mean, that's sadly what's happened to this young man, possibly Jermaine Rigor. If he's convicted, he's gone from being a man who had everything going for him and had the freedom to live the life that every brother out here would have wanted to live, because I would have, when I look at his life at 27 and look at where I was at 27, I mean, I look at this young man and I say, dude, you had everything going for you. Good job, life, look, making good money, living all right, being able to wear what you wanted, and you threw it all away because you wanted to go out here and allegedly participate in this spree to get attention as related to whatever fantasy you have in the secret world when you were smoking up, and you went from a man who had it all to becoming a man in crisis on the road to the penitentiary. Now, if you want to learn more about what motivates beta males to go on this road to dysfunction that leads to them participating in self-destructive behavior like this, you can pick up my book, The Man Crisis, on Amazon.com in paperback and Kindle format. You can also pick up The Man Crisis at other online booksellers like Smashware's The iBookstore, Google Play, and Barnes & Noble. And if you'd like to see me make more videos regarding the man crisis and explaining the dysfunction that leads to these individuals possibly being motivated to participate in these crimes, you can send a donation to the Patreon, the PayPal, or the Cash App by clicking the links in the description box. That's all I have to say for this video. You can comment, rate, and subscribe. Now available in paperback and e-readers, John Haynes' Godbreaker. The man who rules the world takes on the Asgardian god of thunder in this action-packed, all-new John Haynes series adventure. Get your copy of John Haynes' Godbreaker in paperback and e-readers at online booksellers everywhere. Now available in paperback and Kindle Unlimited, John Haynes, the man with nothing to lose. The man who rules the world runs into the irresistible force of a man with nothing to lose in this action-packed, all-new John Haynes series adventure. Get the regular and variant editions of John Haynes, the man with nothing to lose on Amazon.com today. Support Black-owned and Black-operated digital broadcast media. www.niceradionetwork.com. Nice Radio Network, broadcasting 24 hours a day, 7 days a week.